country has ever prospered that failed to put its own interests first. We will no longer surrender this country or its people to the false song of globalism.
New Right Network. Mobilizing, countering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Welcome to the weekly wrap-up where two guys sit around a camera and try to figure out what's going on. We're in midweek tonight. What's going on? My name's Bob Dunlap.
And I'm Eric Matheny, and we got some tension in Iran.
She ran. I ran. We all ran. That worked out great for us, though. Woo! You wouldn't think from the left, though.
You wouldn't think. Okay, so World War III was going to be the new talking point of the Democrats. Now, Bob, you and I have talked about this on this show more times than I can count. What is the left going to do next? Mueller, Russia, racism, recession, impeachment, Ukraine. World War III was going to be their rallying cry, and effectively, we've shut it down. So what happened is after we killed Soleimani, there was some retaliation last night from Iran where they lobbed about a dozen missiles to nowhere. Their missiles didn't hit anything. Jack Wilson in the White Settlement Church is more accurate with one round than the Iranian military is with 12, $20 million missiles. They hit nothing. I think it was all for posterity. It was all for show. Trump came out today, gave a statement. It doesn't look like we're going to respond to that. I think that Iran gets it. I think it's like the shot collar on the dog. They understand we're not Obama. We're not going to kiss their asses. We're not going to give them money. If you hit us, we're coming back at you. Remember that the killing of Soleimani was done after they had attacked our bases and after they had stormed our embassy. So 2 acts of aggression, we finally had to respond. We had to respond.
With a bunch more acts of aggression coming as well. And his speech today was great. De-escalation, and the oil price came way down, like $5 a barrel. So here, get ready for the oil or gasoline price to come down about 8-10 cents a gallon in the next couple of days. But yeah, it was just, we couldn't have asked for a better outcome. What happened? They knew he wasn't bluffing. He doesn't bluff. So, and the left is giving them praise. Oh, they showed restraint. Oh, screw them.
Did you see Michael Moore put out a tweet in Arabic today?
I don't know what it said, but I saw your tweet.
Yeah, mine. I said he was ordering shawarma and baklava. Effectively, what he was saying is, my name is Michael Moore. I'm an American citizen. Please, don't do anything to us. Let us resolve this matter peacefully. So he's basically telling Iran, which is our enemy right now, not to do anything, that we're going to handle this ourselves. Basically, let us vote this guy out of office. He doesn't speak for us. Look, we have free speech in this country. If you pulled that crap in Iran, if you're in Tehran tonight and you're saying, President Trump, I don't like the Ayatollah, we don't speak for him, we love you, we respect you. Bob, if you're lucky, you don't have those rights here. So Michael Moore, as a private citizen, can go on his Twitter and he could say whatever he wants, but I think it reflects the attitude among the left. And they will do anything and take any position that is adverse to Trump. If Adolf Hitler were resurrected tomorrow and Trump did something to him, the left would back Adolf Hitler. I swear to God, if 9/11 happened, they'd back Al-Qaeda.
What it is, though, is the left, just like Obama, I'll give you a great example. Remember he was going around the world giving an apology tour. The left thinks, and they've been taught their whole life, that America's the problem. We're the aggressor. We're the problem. So they don't like Israel having nuclear arms. So that's why they feel it'd be great if Iran had nuclear arms. The problem with all this is that's the deep state thinks that we're the problem. And little do they know, or they should have found out yesterday, it's the exact opposite. We're the peacekeepers.
We are the peacekeepers, but that's Obama's whole thing. And if you read the books, Dreams of My Father, whatever book he wrote, he talks about America being an imperialist power. And his whole mantra when he took office was, we need to take a step back. He was coming into office at the height of the Iraq war. The economy had tanked. The very first thing he did is he goes on an apology tour in the Middle East. He wanted to reestablish a relationship with the Arab world. He wanted to bow to kings. And like I've said before on this show, the one image that completely defines his presidency is our sailors on their knees at gunpoint by the Iranian Navy. If that doesn't piss off every American, and if that doesn't by itself justify the military action we've taken against this regime that we've kowtowed and catered to for 40 years, that we've given money and arms to, praying to God they didn't do anything to us, and they still hate us. They chant death to America when we give them $1 billion in cash. They chant death to America when we assassinate their number two. They don't like us. The thing is here, and I think Trump's on the right track here, we gotta let them know we're not going to be bullied. And then I think we need an exit strategy like no other. We need to get the hell out of that region because we're fighting an ideological conflict. Let me tell the left something. You can't blame Donald Trump for a conflict that has existed since the 7th century. We don't belong there.
Hey, we don't need their oil anymore, so bye-bye.
We don't need their oil, and Israel can stand up for itself. Israel's got a powerful military. They've got the will to fight. They don't need America right there in that region to back them up. We've got their back, but believe me, they're chomping at the bit to get their hands on Iran, and they've got the weapons to do it. We don't need to be there. We don't need to be the buffer. I think we need to get the hell out of there, the hell out of the Middle East. We do not belong there.
I agree with you. And I tell you what, the Palestinians will tell you, they are most scared of the Israeli special forces. They are literally do not want to fight Israeli special forces because they have God on their side, and they know it. So Israel would be fine with us not there. I don't know what we're doing there still. Just pay us for the damn airport, like Trump said. We're gone.
I agree. I think we hit them, we let them know who we are, and we're out the door. Now, one question that a lot of people have is the bombs, the missiles, the weapons that they've used, were they paid for with the Obama money?
Trump said they were today.
A lot of people say they are. A lot of people speculate that that's where they got the money to arm themselves.
I would think so. You put that out in a tweet yesterday. It's almost like we have tomorrow's news today.
And you know who they bought the weapons from?
Russia,
yeah. Okay. So Russia is arming Iran, which was just doing joint military operations with Russia and China. I mean, World War III is not going to happen, but we do have a potential axis of evil on our hands. We do have Russia, Iran, China. We need to keep an eye on that diplomatically. We're already in an economic, intellectual property war with China. Russia, there's sort of been a proxy war, via Ukraine, our support of Ukraine, which is fighting them at their border. And Iran, we're in a hot conflict with them right now. I think that's going to de-escalate. But yeah, the bombs that they're lobbing at us, those missiles, those short-range missiles, they cost a lot of money, and Iran doesn't have it. Now, that money that Obama administration gave to them very likely went to purchase those weapons. Now, a lot of the pundits, the left-wing pundits, come on and say, oh, no, that money went to the people. I don't think that money went to the people. I think it's like when you send money to Cuba, does that money go to your relatives in Cuba, or does it go to Castro? No, money doesn't trickle down in those types of governments. It goes to the Ayatollah, and it goes to the people in charge.
People are actually saying that money went to the people.
Juan Williams I was listening to him on the radio today. He said so. He was arguing. He said, "Yeah, that money went to the Iranian people."
He is an idiot. Why is he on Fox? It's like that Brazil lady. God, I hate Juan.
Yeah, they got to get him off. So in cultural news, a lot of things happening this week. Comedian George Lopez put out a tweet or an Instagram post where Iran put out a bounty for Trump, $80 million bounty for Trump. And George Lopez says, I'll do it for half. Obviously, he's joking, but in these very tumultuous, very heated political times, in any time in history, has it ever been okay to joke about the assassination of a president? Ever?
No. My God, does he look bad, too? What happened to him? That evil makes you look ugly. He looks horrible.
Father Time, man. Father Time is not his friend. But you don't joke about assassinating a president ever. Nobody, no matter who's in office. You have to at the very least respect the office. You don't have to respect the person who holds the office, but you got to respect the office enough not to make a joke like that.
Imagine if they said that about Obama.
There was an incident. So down here in South Florida in 2012, Obama was going to go to the University of Miami and give a speech. And there was some young conservative kid on Facebook who said, who wants to help me assassinate Obama when he goes to UM? He was arrested by the FBI, prosecuted, and pled guilty. Now, he only got probation. The judge said, look, I think you were, just speaking in jest, but you can't say stuff like that. You can't do it. George Lopez is going to get a slap on the wrist. Left and Hollywood is applauding him, but we got to have some standards of decency where you can't do that.
Speaking of Hollywood.
Golden Globes?
Yeah.
Do tell, man.
Oh, Ricky Gervais. Oh, I saw him in an interview prior to even putting on the show, and he was like, I don't know why I said yes. Some people like to jump out of planes and extreme sports, and he really hated doing that. He probably got $10 million, but I think it was a real turning point between him and Dave Chappelle. They really flipped the script, and I just loved him saying all that stuff right to their faces. It was just
10 million. He definitely didn't get 10 million. In fact, I don't think those guys make a ton of money on those award shows. I know the Oscar host gets like 15 grand. So
What?
it's more. It's you're not doing it for the money. The people that they get to do it are huge celebrities. They're very good. They're very funny. These are people that don't need the money. They'll pay them something, $15,000, which obviously to make that in a day would be great for a regular person, but for Hollywood, that's chump change. But you don't do it for the money. You do it for the image and for the, I guess the fame. But the bottom line is with Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais hosted the Golden Globes. He ripped into Hollywood. He was not playing for the audience in the room. He was playing for the audience at home. And he got like a 70% approval from the audience. People wanted to see him again. They loved him. Hollywood hates him. They were pissed. They couldn't believe he said the things he did. But my God, he called him out. He called him and said, he'd come up here, get your award, thank your agent, thank God, and go sit down. You're not qualified or in any position to talk about anything else. You guys are not educated. You're not worldly. You live in these bubbles. So quit the virtue signaling. It was hilarious. He called everybody out. He called them out individually, collectively. And I think you're right, Bob. I think it reflects the culture that we're seeing too much hypocrisy in Hollywood. I mean, let's talk about Harvey Weinstein. He went on trial, started this week in New York. He was also just indicted in California, Los Angeles, on multiple counts, similar counts, sexual assault counts. Everybody in Hollywood knew about this guy. They not only enabled him, they knew it. They knew that girls going up to his room, they knew the casting couch. He had a reputation for that, and everybody turned a blind eye, and they laughed and joked at parties. And when it became politically and more for their bottom line, inconvenient, they changed their tune. And what do? They point the finger at us and go, you guys, we are here and we're standing for women, and you need to do that too. And you evil men, you bad white men who are perpetrating this. And meanwhile, years ago, remember when Meryl Streep called him God? She got up and said, she thanked him, she called him God. They knew about this. They applauded, what's his name, Roman Polanski in 2003. They gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award, and they all applauded him when he was out of the country because he's got a warrant for raping a 13-year-old.
It's not really rape, though.
Yeah, it was that Whoopi Goldberg said.
Yeah.
It's garbage, man. When the tide turned and it wasn't convenient for them anymore and it was going to affect their bottom line, that's when they changed their tune. And it pisses everybody off, and people are wise to it. They're not fooling anyone anymore.
What about that one actress that she wouldn't have had this Golden Globe if she didn't get an abortion? I was like, what?
Michelle Williams? Her?
Yes. These people are nuts, man.
They're nuts. Yeah, you got to get up there and virtue signal a little bit, but nobody's buying it. And Ricky Gervais was awesome, and I hope that sets the tone. And over the last few years, these award shows, the ratings have been tanking because nobody wants to see it. I imagine they had much better ratings this time around. I bet he'll be back. I guarantee they'll have him back.
This time he'll probably ask for a lot of money because it takes a lot of time to write these jokes. This isn't like a 10-minute thing. This takes days and days of preparation. So for them to get 15 grand, I will take that bet, Eric.
You have writers and things like that, but I'm sure he did a lot of his own material. Speaking of Hollywood pederasts, Jeffrey Epstein photos came out. Did you see those photos?
I did, yeah. He hung himself, yeah.
Yeah, he hung himself. Yeah, if you go look at those photos, they're not too graphic. They're not too hard to see. You see his neck, and you see when you hang yourself, you're going to have the banding marks up around the top of your throat here because of where your position of where your head is hanging. He had them straight across his throat, like across his Adam's apple. You saw some crisscross patterns. It was very thin. It wasn't the thick banding or burns that you might see from hanging himself with cloth. It was garrote wire. It was cord. It was something. That guy was murdered. There's no question. Listen to Dr. Bodden. He's a pro. look at the pictures, draw your own conclusions. He was murdered. The question is, who did it? The Clintons, the Royals, Hollywood, Wall Street, who?
Move along. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Exactly. Australia, and we're all being told what horrible climate polluters we are, and they're arresting arsonists left and right.
200 of them. I've been thinking about that. I really think they should be burned to death. That is. Did you see the videos of all the animals?
Oh, the koalas. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. But the Australia fire is the Jussie Smollett of climate change. This is now you're essentially perpetrating a crime to blame a higher cause. It's like faking a hate crime to go blame white supremacy. You're setting fire to Australia to turn around and say, look what you climate polluters are doing. I mean, it's no different than somebody who accuses another person of rape just in the name of feminism.
And one of the teenagers came out of court, an Islamic kid, laughing. It's funny. I'm telling you, they should be shot or burned to death alive.
Well, the left is still taking shots at climate change. They're saying, well, if not for the dry environment, it wouldn't burn the way it does. Well, you know what? If you don't get down with a lighter and set the fire in the first place, it wouldn't burn. It's poor forest management, like in California. They're not clearing the dry brush. Mind you, the majority of Australia is desert climate, so you got to clear that dry brush, just like Southern California. If you don't clear the brush, then you're creating a tinderbox. And secondly, people are setting the fires. So it's not the sun is burning so hot that these fires are spontaneously starting and so dry, or lightning is starting them. Human beings are doing this, and the damn climate hysteria is pointing the fingers at us when we're not the cause. We didn't start the fire.
You know, they did that. But they did that in Brazil. The Brazil fires, too, it came out that these left-wing nut jobs were starting them. I don't know if you heard that.
No, it's environmental terrorism, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, screw them, man. I'm just had it. I'm going to go get a citizenship in Nigeria.
Oh, what's her name? Cardi B. Go do it. Yeah, she wants to go to Nigeria because she's afraid of what's happening here. Go do it. Hey, you know what? Michael Moore, all these celebrities, everyone's saying, oh my God, Trump. We live in the greatest country on earth. You are free to walk out the door anytime you want. Go see if they'll have you. Now, you can't just walk into Nigeria. You can't walk into Iran. You can't walk into Mexico. You know why? They have immigration laws.
Oh, my God. Oh, did you hear about the wall, too? The 2 or 3 people got stuck on the top of it, and they had to be rescued because they got up there, and they're like, oh, we're screwed. So the wall's
I did not see that, no. But the wall's coming along. That's coming along. He's got to get some serious progress on that. That was a big campaign promise. A lot of people voted for him for that reason. He's got to make some real progress, and it's coming along. I'd like to see a little more.
What else you got?
On a lighter note, do you know what today is?
No, Eric.
January 8th, 1935, a young man was born in a shotgun shack in Tupelo, Mississippi by the name of Elvis Aaron Presley. And he is the greatest showman of all time. I am a huge, huge Elvis fan, probably one of the biggest Elvis fans you'll ever meet. I love him. I love his work. And today would have been his 85th birthday. And I think had he lived, he would have made great music, new music, up through the 80s and 90s. I think he probably now, Chuck Berry performed till he was 90. I mean, Elvis may still be performing if he were alive, but I think really active through the 80s and 90s. I think he would have, you probably would have seen him go in like more of a country direction in the 80s. I don't think he would have jumped onto the soft rock phenomena. I think he would have been more in country. I think you would have seen him do that. Gospel. He loved his gospels. He had like people that wanted to work with him, for miles. There were supposed to be a lot of people who were going to work with him by the time he died, and they never got a chance to. So I think he just would have made some terrific music had he lived.
Well, it's great. I didn't know that about you, Eric, till today. So that's super. Have you been to
Graceland?
Thank you.
Never been to Graceland. I would like to go, but I'm a big fan. I became a fan of Elvis when I was in college. I listened to him growing up. My father was very musical. I played piano my whole life, very into music. So I've listened to him my whole life. And then when I got to college, I just really fell in love with him. And really the stuff he did later in life, the Elvis that I see is not the black pompadour and the kid with the tuxedo pants shaking his hips on Ed Sullivan. It is the comeback special, leather jacket, 1968, big mutton chops down to here, bloated from Percocet and peanut butter sandwiches, singing his heart out. So if you want some real treats, go on YouTube. Anything from 68 to 77, namely 1977 when he did Unchained Melody about 6 weeks before he died. Beautiful. I mean, he looks like hell, but man, can the guy sing. So happy birthday, Elvis Presley.
Nice.
So that brings us up to the end of our weekday show. We'll be here Saturday at noon. Follow what's going on in the world, but hey, no world war. We got this. We've got an alpha male in the White House who will not cater to terrorists. God bless President Donald Trump, and thank you for tuning in.
God bless you, Trump 2020.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.